uMkhonto weSizwe party today unveiling its election manifesto at the Orlando Stadium here in Johannesburg. Well, the party led by former ANC President Jacob Zuma says it wants to win 2/3 of the vote to change the constitution. For more on this now, live to Canny Maphanga, who is at the Orlando Stadium. A very good morning to you, Canny. Thanks indeed for your time. So this is going to be a very interesting one. Here you have the former leader of the ANC with his own political party at the Orlando Stadium wanting to make a dent, if I can, in the upcoming elections. I know that, for example, in by-elections in Abakolusi and Pongolo, those are some of the areas where the MK party has made inroads. This is certainly something to watch, what the MK party will say. I understand that you were speaking to the head of elections there, but paint a picture for us first of what's taking place at Orlando Stadium.
Well, good morning to you, Griselda, and to the viewers at home. Indeed, it is a hive of activity here at Orlando Stadium in Soweto and Johannesburg as the MK party, the newly formed uMkhonto weSizwe political party, plans to launch what it terms the People's Mandate here in this township. Now, it's quite interesting that they've chosen to come to Johannesburg when, as you've correctly stated, Griselda, they've been making some inroads and showing some performance in the KwaZulu-Natal province as well as the Mpumalanga province. So we know at least with this political party, this newly formed political party, that ahead of these May polls, or when we get to 29 May polls, we should be watching those two provinces. However, as you can see, they've now decided to come to Johannesburg and bring their plan for South Africa as we battle a number of socioeconomic challenges in order to achieve that big task of what they term as a 2/3 majority. But to elaborate further on this, I am joined by the MK head of elections, Mr. Muzi Nchingila here, just ahead of the party's manifesto. As you can see, the stadium, which I think has a capacity of just about 40,000 spectators, has some supporters arriving already, Griselda, ahead of that keynote address by former President Jacob Zuma. But before we get there, I think where we can start is that we have seen through by-elections what the performance of MK can be, but in particular, two provinces. We know that you didn't do quite so well in the Northwest and the Limpopo province. However, you have been showing some inroads in KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga. Why come to the province of Gauteng, or particularly the city of Johannesburg, to launch this People's Mandate?
If you understand the infrastructure, the community that lives in Johannesburg, you would see the need for MK to launch its People's Mandate in a city that requires the attention and intervention of MK party based on its policies that would have been contributed by the citizens and the residents of Johannesburg and of Gauteng. Because the environment and the infrastructure is extremely deteriorated, the level of joblessness, the level of crime, those things are visible and brazenly visible for everyone to see. So uMkhonto weSizwe is here to say we care, we will respond based on your circumstances and demands, and uMkhonto weSizwe is your home. That's why we are coming to Soweto, and particularly in Orlando West. It has a serious history with uMkhonto weSizwe leading to Orlando East and Dube, of course. But uMkhonto in Orlando East is at home.
And I think the next question would be, how do you plan to address these socioeconomic challenges? What plan are you putting forward this morning? I mean, we talk a lot about uMkhonto weSizwe party, but lately you've been in the headlines for your court battles, your internal battles. But what plan are you exactly presenting to South Africans in such a crucial election that is the 29 May polls?
And the president will unpack the policies that we intend to implement when we get into government on the 1st of June. So those program of actions are intended to engineer the society to transform their current material conditions so that their livelihood improves. So those are things that are there for you to read, you can understand them. But what is very important is that when we come here, we are here to also launch what we call uMkhonto weSizwe, MK Mobile, a people's network connecting the people. which is an opportunity for employment for the citizens of this country with cheaper data, with cheaper airtime. Now it means we are also beginning to implement the mandate of the people, not a promise, but a program. We are being very pragmatic as uMkhonto weSizwe, and there are other programs that are coming to prove it to the South Africans that indeed uMkhonto weSizwe is the future of this country, is the party that cares, is the party that people should be members of and also support on the election day by casting their vote next to the face of the president that is coming on the 1st of June, President Jacob Zuma.
So how do you give effect to this people's mandate as the former president, the leader of your political party, remains a member of the ANC and has indicated that he is not leaving the ANC? So how do you have a leader that is the member of the governing party as well as endorsing this newly formed political party when you intend to stand for public office? How do you reconcile the two, having a leader that is a member of the governing party as well as this newly formed political party?
So there are no contradictions when you listen to President Zuma. That the ANC would have been a movement formed for the people of this country to transform, but equally unite them and devise means and mechanisms that can completely liberate them for self-determination and sovereignty. But if it fails, of course, we have to develop mechanisms to also address those issues. And MK is doing exactly that. But President Zuma has been very articulate as to why he remains the member of the ANC, because there's still a belief that the ANC is not doing what it's supposed to do. The founding members of the ANC did not form the ANC what is happening now. But of course, uMkhonto weSizwe remains the solution, and ultimately, and everyone will understand why we're taking this route and why it is important that members of this community, members of this country are mobilized and galvanized to support this vision. And this is the vision that will take them to the ultimate objectives that will liberate them completely, because there's many promises that were made by our former party. We call them Ngakoko, but things that could not be achieved based on whatever it is that has been happening on the other side. But here, those are things that are not produced or planned by certain individuals, but it's a contribution of the ideas of the people of the country, consolidated into a document themed or coined as the people's mandate. The people's mandate is what will liberate completely the lives and the people of this country.
And lastly, very quickly, when can we expect the leader of the MK party, former President Jacob Zuma, to deliver that keynote address today?
So we can't disclose for security reasons, but the president is coming and you'll be the first one to receive his MK mobile SIM card and call one of his members with that SIM card to show that indeed the future is bright for everyone, including yourselves.
All right, thank you very much. That's MK Head of Elections, Mr. Muzinchingila, just outlining the foundation, I guess, for the MK party as it plans to launch this people's mandate here in Soweto. I just want to quickly give you a view of the stadium as we prepare for that keynote address. MK party not committing to the time that the former president will get on the stage and deliver his ideas or alternative ideas rather, to the people of South Africa ahead of those 29 May polls. So, Criselda, as you can see, the Orlando Stadium is starting to fill up. I think we're looking at a capacity of 40,000 here if they are in the seats of the Orlando Stadium. Of course, we do understand that the pitch may be opened if it is required to give more of those supporters. We know outside the stadium there's a lot of activity, a lot of supporters of the MK trying to get into this venue ahead of that speech. Of course, we'll monitor as the former president is expected to arrive at any time during the course of the day. Of course, you've heard Mr. Jingila stating there that due to security concerns, they won't be able to divulge the exact time that the former president will take the stage. However, they will be delivering the people's mandate here in Soweto ahead of those 29 May polls, where they hope to achieve that 2/3 majority. As I've stated earlier, we'll continue to update you throughout the course of the day as they unveil their plans ahead of those May polls.